Mothers feed. Mothers are feeders. If you look at the physiology of women, there is an ability to nurture, to nurse, and to feed their little ones. As men, we can't do this. Many men, when they have their first child, they feel a bit useless. They say, I want to help my wife. I want to support her. But Paul, even if I wake up in the middle of the night, I haven't got the apparatus. All right? They don't have the equipment within them to feed the baby. There's nothing in me and on me that can feed a child. But the way God designed the female, the mother, is that she can actually feed. Isn't it interesting? You know, and it's so interesting how this passion to feed continues even when the children get older. My kids are at that stage in their teens where they consume a lot of food. And sometimes it might annoy me and I'm like thinking, yo, we're always buying food for these guys. They just love food, you know. If you want to keep them happy, just feed them. Just keep feeding them. And they're happy. And my wife, I was about to say my mother, my wife, your wife ain't your mama, Paul. My wife has taken hold of this, you know. I can be engaged in intimate conversation with her, but when the kids arrive and they're around the dining room table, her instinct to feed them kicks in, much to my annoyance sometimes, because she's already like, oh, Sammy, you can have more of this. Oh, have you guys seen? I've got this. And then there are those rolls over there. Then you can also have this. There's something unnatural about a woman or a mother who doesn't care about what her children eat. Just think about that. You know, even if she's not the one who's actually making the food all the time, we expect a mother to be concerned about the nourishment of her family. And this is so crucial and so important. It's an aspect of mothering. But what's the spiritual dimension of this? We're called to feed those we're discipling. You see, growth in life and growth in a community only comes when there's feeding. So my question is, who are you teaching the word? Who are you feeding? You see, that's a capability of mothers, isn't it? To feed. Who are you feeding the word? Right? If you look at scripture, if you look in scripture, teaching is not something limited to men. Right? In Proverbs 6, verse 20 to 21, it says, my son, observe the commandment of your father and do not forsake the teaching of your mother. So there's a role that a mother plays in feeding her children, in teaching her children. It says, bind them continually on your heart, tie them around your neck. What did your mom teach you? Bind them continually on your heart, tie them around your neck. Those of you who are children right now, do you listen to what your mother teaches you? There's the teaching of the mother, and we need to honor this. In Titus chapter 2, verse 3, it says, likewise, teach the older women to be reverent in the way they live, not to be slanderous or addicted to much wine, but to teach what is good. To teach what is good, right? So there's a teaching role that's there. And then in verse 4, I love it in the NLT, it says, these older women must train the younger women to love their husbands and their children. So if you're an older woman, you're called to teach what is good, right? So there's a teaching element there. Then it goes on to say, these older women must train. So you're called to teach and to train the younger women to love their husbands and their children. How often do you hear people talking about that? Hey, let me train you to love your husband. There's a technology to it in terms of how to love your husband. Those of you who are older women, do you know how to do that? And are you doing that? Are you teaching the younger women how to love their husbands and how to love their children? Again, very important. So mothers are feeders. Mothers are feeders.